Today I'm going to be taking another look at using beat repeat and combining it with some other simple effects within Ableton to make a powerful sound sculpting tool capable of being used on vocals, for drum beats, glitchy effects if you like it, of course. That's really the basis of beat repeat, but also some more interesting textures which you may not realize are possible with the beat repeat. Okay, let's have a look then. Okay, so let's just have a look what we have in the rack then. We can close this for a second. Let's have a look. Okay, so we have a beat repeat, we have an auto filter and a delay, and finally a limiter at the end. So some quite simple effects. It's quite an easy rack to build as well. But adding the auto filter and a delay really opens up what you can do with beat repeat if you set it up correctly. So let's have a listen now. We've got well, it's a bit of crazy vocal, but we'll just bring it in. If we have a listen to the normal audio without any effect, then we can add our beat repeat. I have here some different variations that I've made that show what's possible just with this vocal alone. How we can really affect it. Turn that up a little. So with these effects you have possibilities to transform what was a crazy vocal into anything really. Let's have a quick look then what's going on. Maybe we'll choose something different to listen to here. Put a breakbeat on, turn that down. So here is the breakbeat. And then, as I say, we can transform it into many things. You can get the glitchy effect. We can get into sort of atmospheres with a breakbeat. All kinds of things possible. Okay, so let's have a look then what's actually going on. Maybe I'll go through quite quickly what the breakbeat does, very quickly. We have here the controls. Let's perhaps turn this off for a second. We don't need that. We have here the controls which have been mapped to the beat repeat, auto filter, delay, etc. And the way the beat repeat works is we have a thing here called the interval, which is basically this function here. And this grabs, let's go, maybe we need the sound, might help. Let's go to a bass. Turn it down a little. So we have here the interval, and this is effectively how often the beat repeat grabs a piece of audio. So at the moment it's set to 1 bar, so every 1 bar it grabs a piece of audio. Then we have here the thing called the grid, which I've renamed here to slice length, because what the grid does is it then grabs a piece of audio at this length. Here it's set to 1/6 at the moment, so we could effectively set this to 1/8. We could set this to 1/8. So what we're doing now is we're grabbing every 1/8 note, we're grabbing audio, and then we're grabbing 1/8 of that audio. And then we have this thing here, which is the final one, which is called the gates here down at the bottom, which I've named to beat length. We then play that captured audio, this 1/8 note, we then play it back over this time period. So we can play that for a complete bar, it will repeat it for a complete bar, or we can play it back over, with each one of these, that's a quarter note, 4/16. There's an 1/8, 2 quarter notes, so you get the idea. Now, why can't we hear it? Well, basically because this value here, the slice frequency, always has to be, or the slice length always has to be below this. So if this value is equal or above, we won't hear, equal to this value or above, we won't hear anything. So we need this value here always to be below this value. So there we go. So we're grabbing now every 8th note, we're grabbing a sample 1/16th note long, and we're playing it back over 8/16ths here. If I move that down here, it'll only play over 1/16th, you won't hear it. So let's hold on. We have to go here to, let's change this. We have another control here which controls the mix, ins and gate, which is this control here. Now, if I have it set to gate, then I only hear the audio coming from the glitch, so post glitch if you like. I can then combine it. If I put it on ins here, now what I'm doing is I'm getting the audio coming in, plus every time the glitch plays, I'm getting the glitch. And if I go finally to mix, then we get a combination of both the glitch, if I extend the glitch length over 1 bar, then we should, let's have a look, chances here, let's see, you'll hear it's playing the entire time. We've set this to 1 bar. I could reduce this just to 1/16. I can change this to be faster, more frequent, or slower to grab the information. Okay, so yeah, so we can choose here how we want the glitch material or the beat repeat material to be played back purely on its own. Let's change that a bit longer. We can play this purely on its own. We can combine it. You have to reduce this though, because you have to leave a little window for the original audio to come through. If we have this on all 1 bar, then it will just play the glitch material, so we can combine it. Or as I say, we can mix it completely. So that's what's going on here. Then we have the chance of the glitch being used. So if I switch this back to purely glitch, we hear nothing, 0. 50%, 80, 100%, etc. So we can control how often the beat repeat functions. We can also control here the speed, of course, which I mentioned, but we can also change the variation, how the beat repeat captures and plays back the audio. There are several variations, I think 10 or 11. So you can choose a different style for the playback of the glitch. Okay, so that here controls all of those things. Then we have a pitch here. If we have here, we can change the pitch of the glitch. So we can, let's say 7 semitones. And then to make textures, we can adjust this thing here, the pitch decay here, I've got it mapped here. So we start to hear the transformation from the original pitch to the new pitch here can be stretched out. Let's go set that back to 0. So we start to transform our drum beat into all kinds of things now. We start to grab the audio more often. Okay, then we have, so this is the pitch decay, quite a useful effect. Then what else do we have here? I think we've been through all of these. We have, if we go to mix now, we have to watch our volumes. Something I used in my previous video in the rack, and it's the ability to effectively filter the glitch tone, i.e. the frequency of the glitch material coming through. So we can filter just the low glitched information, or we can set this up here. You can hear now we're only glitching the higher frequencies. The original beat is coming through. So with this I can choose what frequencies I want to affect with the glitch. Then of course we have some delay. And what else do we have? So this only works, the glitch filter only really works with the mix. It can work here, but if you want a drum beat and you want to get the bass, let's say you wanted to have the kick drum come through, that's the classic one, it won't work when you're in gate because you're effectively just filtering the glitch material here. But if we have the mix, then we can affect the drum, the bass drum, it's a bit glitched, or we can go up here, keep the bass drum and lower frequencies clean, and just have glitched material in the higher frequencies. Okay, so that works with the mix. It would also work here, I guess, in the combined. So that's a useful thing to have this filter. Okay, then finally we have a filter. We have the auto filter in here, so we can start altering our tone. We can morph it. We can drive it. So we can make all kinds of interesting tones here. Okay, I hope that's clear for everybody. So yeah, with this we can apply this beat repeat machine, as I've called it, to any audio material coming in. We can go to an atmosphere, which you heard in the intro, and we can play around with this. Oh yes, finally, sorry, I forgot this one. We also have a filter envelope as well. We can affect the envelope of the filter to make it modulate here a little bit. So let's just go to the pure glitch material. See what we can get. Have a go. Let's try this one. Well, I forgot this one here actually. This is the slice position. This is actually the last element in the beat repeat, and we have here the frequency, how often, but we can also change this position. So at the moment it's grabbing the sample data on the first note, but we can offset this. We can have it on the first quarter note. Maybe this might be better with the drum beat again. We can have this on the first quarter note, or the second quarter note. And depending on where here we can see it here. We can see here it's grabbing on the second quarter note. We could move it to the third quarter note. I'm just going in quarter notes here to make it clear. Or anywhere in between, any of the 16 positions. So that will affect the sound we hear as well. So as you can hear, you can get all kinds of, it doesn't have to just be drum beats. So it's very powerful, and as I say, in combination with these other effects, you can get some really crazy stuff. Okay, I hope that's explained it well. The only thing here is I didn't have enough macros to control many aspects of the delay, so you'd have to set your delay up how you want here yourself. I've got it synced and I've got the ping pong on. The limiter here is really just for a couple of functions we'll get to when we build the rack. One is to control the output volume, and the other is if, of course, we get any sort of crazy volumes coming through. Okay. Let's have a look then how this is all put together. So you'll need the audio effects rack, audio effects rack. Just drag one and drop it into the channel. I've kept my original rack, but you can open up your macros here. These are my original names. You'll have macro 1, macro 2, macro 3. Just right click and rename them. You can choose my names or any name you like. We'll be using all 16, so we'll click those buttons there. The plus gives us all the macros. Now we'll need the beat repeat, the auto filter, and I'm building this with Ableton Live 12.3, so this is the new auto filter introduced in 12.2, just for your information. We also need the delay, and finally at the end we'll have a limiter as well. So we need to do a little bit of setting up. We'll start with the beat repeat actually. We'll start here. We activate the filter. We'll come and we'll map this in a second. The rest will map, so there's nothing else to do there. The auto filter, I chose the morph filter here. I chose MS2 as the drive, and I put the soft clipping on as well. Then we will map here the envelope, but we need to activate here sample and hold. I use this to modulate the envelope a little bit, so that needs to be activated. Then on the delay, I had this on 6. The feedback I had set to about 25%. So this setting here we can't adjust from the macros. So you have to set up your delay how you feel you want it. The dry wet we will map, but I had the ping pong on as well. So that's how I set it up. You set it up how you feel. Then we'll come to this in a second, the limiter. There's nothing we need to do there at the moment. Okay, so that's everything set up in the instruments or in the effects racks, and now we just need to go in and map a few things. So the interval here is the slice frequency, we'll map that there. Then we have the grid here, which is the slice length. The slice position is the offset. The beat variation is variation here. Chances is chance here. The beat length is the gate length here. We have the pitch here and the pitch decay here. We also match this filter here. We will map to the glitch filter. Now there was one setting I've missed here actually, we'll just pop out quickly. I set this to 5. And I better check the delay as well. The delay width here, sorry, this also needs to be set. This needs to be set to a width of 4 here. Sorry, I forgot those two. We'll come and map this in a second. So let's go back into the mapping again. So we've mapped this here. then we have these functions here, the mix, ins and gates, that allows us to select how the beat repeat plays back the audio. We map that here. Okay, so that's everything mapped there. We can now do the auto filter. We have the frequency, the filter resonance, which is here, the morph, the filter drive here, the filter envelope down here, and then I think that's everything for the filter. So we have the delay, dry, wet, but we also map this filter here, this one here, we're going to map as well to the glitch filter. That means that when we use this filter, we're not only filtering which frequencies the beat repeat allows through, or the beat repeat affected frequencies, we're not only filtering which those are, but also those frequencies that are affected by the beat repeat will only be delayed. So we won't be delaying if we move this filter higher. Let's say we had a drum beat and we're playing the kick drum through. Well, as we move this higher away from the kick drum, we'll also move our delay up through the frequency range, and the kick drum would not be delayed. So it allows us to get those delayed glitchy overtones above kick drums and things like that. So that we have mapped to the glitch filter. What else do we have? We have then the drive. We need to map here to the filter drive. We're going to map the input gain of the limiter, and we will use that. Where's the drive here? We use that to control the volume level of the rack when we increase drive. Right, okay, so the last one we need to do then is the delay, dry, wet. So we'll map that here. So that's done, and I believe that's everything mapped up here. So now we need to change some of these values in here, the constraints. I'll put a screenshot up now, and you can pause the video, give you a chance to punch them in, and then after that we'll go back and test the rack, make sure everything's working okay. Okay, so once you've got these punched in, everything should work now. Be careful with this one here, the filter drive. Make sure you get this one correct, 0 here and -12, so that we don't get excessive volumes. You'll see I've made some adjustments to some of the frequencies here. That's just really to control where the delay comes in or is where the delay cuts off. But once you've got these in, that should all work fine. So we can come out of here now. Let's try the bass. I've kept my original snapshots here. Once you've got your macro set in the positions you like, you can create a new macro. You would then save the rack here, which would appear in your user library effects, audio effects rack. Oh, so let's just have a look. User library, audio presets, audio effects rack, and that'll appear here. You can then use that in any project you like. As I say, if you make a new snapshot, you must resave the rack, otherwise the snapshots will be lost. So let's just go to a bass snapshot, and fingers crossed. Okay. Let's have a go. Okay. Seems to be working. Make sure this works. Okay. I think we've had enough of him. Okay, thank you for watching as always. Hope the video is useful to somebody. Set it up, have a go. It's a lot of fun. And yeah. See you in the next one, I guess. Take care.